Hello friends, SentinalH here, and welcome to a brand new game. This is Judgment, Apocalypse Survival Simulation. This game caught my eye because it's a survival, crafting, building game that doesn't involve, in post-apocalyptic world, it doesn't involve zombies. Not that I don't like zombies, but eventually you get tired of them. This time it's demons from hell. So pretty cool premise. So I thought I'd try it out. The developer sent me a key, so let's check it out. So I have played the game a little bit. We're gonna start a new game. Now this game, you'll see it's quite difficult, and while it recommends that challenging is the difficulty you should play on, and casual and forgiving are very easy, this custom game mode, custom difficulty allows you to choose exactly what you want to change with your difficulty level, which I think is great. So the only thing that I want to change is enemy progress. So this is a game where the farther into the game you get, the longer you survive, the more powerful the demons get, because if they didn't, the game would be too easy. However, at challenging, it can be quite difficult. So I'm going to change enemy progress rate to casual, which is the lowest. Well, not casual. Let's try forgiving. I don't want to turn it all the way down to casual. Casual is the easiest, and then there's forgiving, then there's challenging, and challenging is the highest. He should probably add like an impossible difficulty mode. That'd be kind of fun, although it might be literally impossible. So we'll get into the game. It's randomly generated maps, and they do have map seeds. So that's how that works. We got the tutorials. I don't need to show the tutorials because now that I know how to play it. So we'll just hit start. It doesn't take very long to load, which is nice, although once the game loads you'll see why it doesn't take very long. Okay, so here we are. While out camping, the four of us were attacked by a demon, basically. We took it down, but one of the four didn't make it, so there's only three of us. And so we got our supplies. We've made our way to this campsite, and so now we need to build a log cabin with a food table and a bed. So the game has a campaign story in it. So as you play, it'll pop up thingies and tell you what you should be doing next. You can choose this mission, which will always let you know what you should be doing at whatever time. You'll notice the game has a very hand-drawn basic art style at the moment. I quite like the way that certain things in the world look already, but other things look a bit crap. I mean, it's early access alpha, so the detail level can be increased. Mainly, it's just the characters that look a little bland because they're very flat colored, and the map's a little, not very interesting. But it's got this sort of grungy, style that I think quite fits the theme. So let's get going. I just paused time. You can pause time with space, or start with pause and start with space. And we've got you can select your people, but they'll do things on their own. And so it's day one time here. You can turn this game all the way up to 8 times speed, and I highly recommend it when you're waiting for them to gather resources. Otherwise, it'll take forever because they're really slow on the basic speed. So we got a well right here for water, which this is a great location to build our log cabin. So we can hit build, and the way this game works is that certain buildings, certain structures need to be placed inside of a building. Like these tables, they can't be built outside. They can only be built inside buildings. So you have to build the log cabins. There's a 2x2, well, it's 4x4, but it's got a 2x2 area. And then there's the 3x2, which has an interior area, which costs about twice as much scraps, and it only costs 10 more wood. So you're basically playing 10 wood and 10 scraps for another two areas there. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna place this well right here, right on top of my guys. So what they'll do now is somebody will go and build it. So this game, you can directly tell these people what to do. So you can click on them and you can have them just straight up perform a task. I mean, well, I can click on it and I can tell them what to do. But if I tell them to do something, I can then right click and tell them to do it. Like if I tell them to, I go to create tasks, I go to chop trees, and I can select these trees. We can chop all these trees down. if I select one of these guys and I right click on the task, I can tell him to go and do it. Otherwise they'll just do it, and you don't have to do that, and they'll just go and they'll just chop trees. But you see, it's very slow. I like that the little meters here tell you exactly how long it's going to take. I do like that. For some reason the log cabins build really quickly. It's very interesting. We got our base inventory with all of our supplies. You start out with a decent amount of supplies. I didn't realize I didn't think. Oh yeah, you start with these for the tutorial thing. So we've got bread and water and scraps and stones and wood. So we gather all of our resources from this screen by chopping trees, growing trees, doing clay and stuff. But then there's also here this world screen that shows here's our area and here's all the locations that are around us that we can go and we can scavenge. And we'll take a look at that in a bit. So first things first, the game will tell us what to do. We got a food table and a bed. Those are the basic things that you need to do. So we build a bed, which takes up only one space. And then we build a food table, which also takes up only one space. You need these because in this game people can't eat unless there's a food table. So if you don't build one, they just won't eat. I like to play the game at 4 times speed unless I'm waiting for them to do something. I usually play it at 8, but then I pause it a lot. So it wants us to go ahead and build an experiment table, which is very important. So this game has a research system. There's the experiment table. So let's check out our people. So our people have stats. They've got their various stats like gathering, science, crafting, farming, building, combat, and occult. This person, they get these random things here when you first start. Like this person's an engineer, so building is +2. She's also a meat lover, so nutrition +15, but energy -10. And an alien abductee, which is +2 occult, science, crafting, but - to farming. So she's not going to be great at farming. She's at a -1. She can still improve her farming level above this and overcome her negative, but she'll always be just a little bit worse because every level the experience cost will go up. But she's decent at occult. She starts out at 1. So we'll see if we've got anyone else better at it. So Michael's just got like 0s on everything. He's a meat lover, but he's a technophobe, so - on science. And he's a bodybuilder, so + health. So this guy, he's going to be our bruiser guy. I'm probably going to make him a combat guy because he's got more health and energy, but he's got he doesn't like science, so he's afraid of science, so he will never be very good at all at sciencing. This person's a bodybuilder, so he's got no bonuses at all. So we got a very bland team to start with. These people are always randomly generated. Although with the same seed that I used, if you use the same seed, you'll get the same people. You can change their priorities by simply dragging them around, so we can see all of their various priorities here. They start out by prioritizing what they're best in. So by default, since she's got a 2 in building and a 1 in crafting, science, occult, and these are both based on occult, she automatically prioritized the things that she's good at, which I like. I like that the game does that, prioritizing the things the characters are good at. So she's basically, the unfortunate part is that she's the person that's good at everything, and our other people are crap at everything. So unfortunately, she's gonna have to like do all the important stuff because these guys are terrible. So we have to now research farming. The research screen, I like the way this works. So the way this works is that every time our researcher completes this research task, they generate science research. There's also occult research, and then we can go in here and we can just spend it like a currency to just unlock this stuff. We have to unlock farming, which only requires 5. There we go, we got 5. So now we can unlock vegetable farms, which is very important. We need to be able to produce food. So now that we have researched farming, our goal is to build 2 vegetable farms. So we can go build, and our vegetable farms are right here. And I don't want to place them far away from the house because people will need to run over there to do it. So I'm going to place them. Oh, you can also, when you place it, you can hold shift to place more than one, but I need another stone in order to do that. So all I have to do is left click on this rock and say quarry stone, and then someone will go over there and do it. No, it's May. No, she's going to build that. Somebody will go over and mine that stone. There we go, Michael's doing it. And this particular rock pile has 16 stones in it, so each one of these is a certain amount of stones that's randomly generated. It's not just one each. So oh no, he's doing that. So who's gonna go and mine a stone? And when they get tired, they go here and they sleep. Well, somebody's got to quarry that stone. Who's gonna do it? Probably once all the tree jobs are done. There we go. Now he's quarrying stone. Okay, so now we have the stone we need. We can build a second vegetable farm. You definitely want 2 of them. And once that's built, this will be accomplished. Oh, see, George is doing research. Okay, great. These farms should keep you fed for now. You will need to build more farms. Yep, craft 2 clubs. So that crafting is different from building. We can go to crafting, and we have our basic recipes. By default, salads are set to auto crafting. You can set things to have a minimum and maximum amount, and you can set things for auto crafting. So with auto crafting on, they will start crafting salads if our amount is below 100, but they will stop when the number is above 100. So they'll try and keep us at 100 salads. In this game, you can't eat raw food, so we can't just eat the vegetables that come out of the okay, let's pause this and talk about this. We can't just eat the raw vegetables that come out of these farms. We have to prepare them into salads. The funny part is that people don't have to be near this food table to prepare food. So this person, like May, could be all the way across this map, like right over here in the middle of nowhere, and she'd be crafting salads because it's a universal inventory for this entire map space, which I actually like because it just makes it, you know, easier. Okay, so we got a message here that we want to scavenge a nearby location, but then we got a message here that there's a stranger that requires assistance. These are timed missions. When these things pop up, you have to do them quickly or they disappear. We now have 2 clubs in our inventory, but we do need to equip people with those. So we're not going to use May because she's the most valuable person. And instead, we're going to use Michael because he's the bodybuilder. He's got more health. And George, so we got two tanky guys that are both you know, very physically fit. So we'll give him a club, and we'll give him a club, and then we'll go to the world view. And when timed missions show up, they show up with a circle around them, like this: event missions and rescue missions, and they got a little hourglass to let you know it's timed. So if we don't do this, this person will be killed. So when you select a location, it tells you how many demons or enemies are there. We got a minor demon and 2 imps. This won't be very difficult. The imps go down very quickly, the minor demons go down very quickly, and our 2 guys should be able to do it. If we look at other locations, like this location just has a minor demon. This location's got, again, 2 demons and 2 imps and a demon. We start, the further away you get from your base, the stronger the enemies get. Like over here, there's hides, which we'll need later, but it's got a reaper and 2 hellhounds, which are nightmares, and a minor demon. So to begin with, we will go and we will send rescue. There are 2 things you can do on the map. You can do a mission or you can scout. If I were to send people over here to scout, a person would go over there and then would reveal the fog of war. So we'll have to do that later, and it takes food to do that. So anyway, we'll click send rescue on this mission, and we'll select George and Michael. You cannot send everybody. If you try, it says you can't leave your base completely undefended, so we must leave someone here. We can change weapons in this screen, okay, which is pretty nice. And this is their combat score, so nobody has any combat points, but they'll gain experience in combat, and there's also a building you can build that will at the base that will allow them to train it up. All right, so here's combat. So now, what we've been seeing here is the main meat of the game. Now the combat is, I don't know what to think about the combat. It's kind of got that XCOM thing going for it, where you get cover bonuses against ranged attacks from being behind certain objects. Like this dumpster will give me half of a coverage against ranged attacks. Doesn't affect melee attacks at all, but against ranged, these positions would protect us. The thing about the combat is that unlike XCOM, which is turn-based, this is real-time. So making strategic decisions is a bit tricky. We don't have to make any strategic decisions in this combat because there aren't any ranged enemies. So the cover ain't going to do anything for us. Oh, here's the bad guys. Now hopefully we can kill these imps before the demon gets here, because he's going to gain a bonus. So there are flanking bonuses in this game. So they get bonuses when attacking from behind. There we go. Demon's dead. And we got someone named Seth joined our colony. So all you have to do is kill all the enemies on the map and you automatically win. And you get resources. These guys drop sulfur. And now they'll come back to the base. And if we head back to the base view, pause the game, we can see we now have a guy named Seth. And he's good at farming. Okay, good. So he can be our farmer. +2 farming, -2 to occult. He's athletic, so he's got +1 combat. That's nice. But -20 nutrition. And he's a believer, so he gets occult +1. He gets occult -2, but then he gets occult +1. So he's a net -1. Interesting. Well, let's check our priorities. And yeah, he'll definitely, be at the top of our farming. He also, because he's got combat, he's currently set to prioritize training combat. We can't train our combat yet. But anyway, I want to change Michael's priorities. And just take all the things that he's good at and move them up. Alright. So all those ones. Because he's good at farming, so he can take care of that. This guy, George, is good at gathering, but so is him. Fetching water, gathering, and then, yeah, we'll put combat training down here. We'll put gathering. This is mining right here. Okay, so there we go. So we got another person. Now, Michael took a bit of a beating, which is fine. We'll just give the club to Seth now that he's actually got combat skill. And that health will go back up over time. Now, we're supposed to scavenge a location for the mission. It doesn't matter which location, so we will just go ahead and scavenge. Here we go. We can get some hides. Hey, that'll be useful later. So we'll just go and scavenge this. It's just a minor demon. All we have to do is send Seth. Seth can handle it by himself. Minor demons are they're not very dangerous. Although, we may as well send both of them. There's no penalties because the main screen is pause while this is going on. So there's no point really in leaving them there, not sending more people, because we can get a flanking bonus and we can just take them down a bit quicker. So I'll just send one of these guys around behind the demon. There we go. So the combat can be very, very simple. These hides will come in handy later. Build an occult library and research the demon's origins. Alright, so that's the next thing we gotta do. So I hope you're getting the idea of how this game works. We need 2 more stones and we also need 9 clay. So that guy's getting the stones. We will mark this clay for gathering. It says that our food is running out. I think that over here you can see how many hours your food stores will last. I think that this pops up whenever it drops below 24. But we've got vegetable farms now and we can produce salads, so our food is not in danger of running out. One thing I'll say about the game is that I think the audio balance could maybe use a little bit of work. The eating sounds are a bit loud. And especially the researching sounds, since you hear them all the time, they can get a little annoying. All in all, I'm quite liking the way that this game is shaping up so far. It's very interesting, at least. Alright. How are our food supplies? We don't seem to have any salads. There we go. Salads. People are eating the salads too quickly. So now we can build the occult library. There we go. So this is the same thing as the research station. It's just for the occult. So right now she's researching that, the regular research. Unfortunately, she's also our occultist. She's also our occultist. So we're going to have to cancel the experiments if we want her to research the occult. That's a pretty weird sound effect, isn't it? And that needs to be a little quieter, I think. I could probably adjust that myself. Although if I adjust that setting, up here we've got the menu with the settings, environmental effects, anti-aliasing, full screen, resolutions, music, and effects. So if I adjust the effects volume, it'll adjust all the effects. I just think that the individual effects need rebalancing. Like the mining is significantly quieter than the occult research. I think we only need 10. If we look at here, we can see where the occult research is. It's just on the side. The things with this sort of thing. We need 20 for that. So this game is very interesting. Let me know what you think about it. So we're at the end here. I'll make at least a couple more videos about this. It progresses very quickly if we run it at 8x speed and stuff. So we're going to run through the mission a little bit so you can get an idea of what this game is. So this is Judgment Apocalypse Survival Simulation. It's in alpha, and alright, you can pick it up on Steam Early Access. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.